Jason Carter wasn't expecting company. Especially not the kind that crashes through his ceiling at 11:17 p.m. and lands naked in his bathtub. He was mid-soak, surrounded by foam, cheap candles, and the scent of vanilla bath salts when the tiles exploded and a shimmering mass of curves and attitude landed with a splash that emptied half the tub. She rose, 9 feet of glowing, dripping alien glory, hair floating like it had its own gravity. Jason screamed. She didn't. "You've deployed regenerative fluid technology," she gasped, inhaling deeply. "Advanced scent-based spore therapy. Intriguing. Male, identify your healing rank." Jason blinked, towel half covering what dignity he had left. "WH what?" She placed a hand to her ample chest. "I am Zyrazel, Empress of the Valari Dominion. Your healing pod has restored my life force. This throne shall now be mine." Jason blinked again. "That's my bathtub." Her eyes narrowed with royal suspicion. "Do not mock your own craftsmanship. This porcelain vessel channels molecular restoration. These," she picked up a lavender bath bomb, "contain nanorepair spores. I am impressed, Earthmale. You are clearly a master of aquatic medicine." He watched as she dropped the bath bomb back in. It fizzed violently between her thighs. Her eyes fluttered. "Ah. I feel the microstimulus already. Lady, that's just lavender and Epsom salt." "Silence. I must complete my immersion ritual." Jason tried to retreat to the corner of the tub. She spread out luxuriously, nearly displacing him from his own bathroom. The loofah floated by, she snatched it up. "Your sacred sponge stick vibrates," she said. "It must stimulate energy points. Shall I apply it to your lower region as is custom?" "No, no, no, we don't do that!" Jason shot up, slipping and grabbing the towel rack. She watched in fascination. "Your species engages in impressive balance rituals." He slumped onto the closed toilet seat, trying to figure out if this was a dream, a prank, or a nervous breakdown. "Okay. Zyra. Zell? Zyrazel," she corrected, sliding lower into the foam with a satisfied moan. "Your pronunciation pleases me. You need to leave. You crashed through my ceiling, you're naked, and you're sitting in my tub. My healing throne. It's a goddamn Kohler bathtub." She eyed the bath faucet. The sacred flow tube hums with energy. She rubbed the faucet's base. "It's throbbing intensity, such design precision." Jason groaned. "That's just water pressure. From the heater. Not galactic tech." She scoffed. "Your false modesty insults us both. Earthmen hide their greatness beneath layers of sarcasm and discount retail." Jason reached for his phone. Maybe animal control handled alien empresses now? "Do not alert your council," Zyra said coolly. "I am in exile. My enemies seek to finish what their plasma lance failed to. You must protect me until my strength returns. Or until my next bath. I'm not your nurse. I don't do space politics. And half your thigh is on my loofah?" She leaned forward, chest pressing against her knees, bubbles clinging to her in scandalous places. "Then I must negotiate. With. My body is primed. Your treatments have stimulated recovery. I require further application of your healing techniques. Begin with the massage oils." Jason held up a bottle of coconut shampoo. "This?" She nodded solemnly. "It smells fertile. Use it liberally." He stood awkwardly. "Look, I think there's a misunderstanding. I'm just a guy. This is just a tub. That's just shampoo. And yet my skin tingles. My blood surges. Your healing arts awaken something." Jason ran a hand through his hair. "I just wanted a quiet soak before bed." She tilted her head. "Then join me. For a shared therapeutic soak. I'm not getting back in there with you. I insist. It is the only way to ensure full molecular bonding. Your tub demands it. No, my ass demands space." Zyra sighed. "You Earth males resist destiny. And intimacy. This must be your evolutionary weakness. There was a dripping silence. Jason stared. Zyra stared back, covered in bubbles like a deity of bathtime chaos. Then she smirked. If you will not enter the healing waters, then at least hand me your towel robe. The air here excites my skin membranes unnecessarily. Jason tossed it, still not moving. Fine. But you're buying me a new ceiling. She wrapped herself in the robe, rose with royal elegance, and stepped out like she owned the entire planet. Consider it a royal decree. The Empress stays. Of course she does, Jason muttered. She thinks my bathroom's an alien hospital. Zyra paused by the mirror, admiring her suds-draped figure. And you, Jason Carter of Earth, are now my personal medicine man. Jason looked at the empty tub, the water-stained ceiling, and the glowing trail of wet alien footprints. He sighed. I knew I should have just taken a damn shower. Jason woke up to the sound of running water and a humming voice that didn't belong to anyone who paid rent. He dragged himself to the bathroom and found Zyrazel reclined in the tub again, surrounded by bath products she had rearranged into some kind of alien shrine. You return, she purred. Prepare the second treatment. Jason rubbed his temples. It's 6 in the morning. Perfect. The body is most receptive at dawn. She had stacked towels into a pyramid, hung his bathrobe like a ceremonial banner, and positioned his rubber duck directly at the head of the tub. The duck was now apparently Grand Advisor Quackenar. I told you yesterday, this isn't a healing station. It's a bathroom. And I have work. Then work your fingers along my dorsal arch. I've assumed the submissive recovery position. You're lying on your back eating a cucumber mask. She peeled off a slice and offered it. Feed me. For strength. Jason sat on the toilet again, fully dressed and completely defeated. You do realize you broke into my apartment, hijacked my tub, and now you're colonizing my shampoo rack. I claimed sacred space. You didn't object during the bonding soak. I was naked and terrified. She smiled. As was I. True vulnerability. Mrs. Griggs banged on the shared wall. Keep the moaning down, pervert. Jason groaned. Great. Now the neighbor thinks I'm into alien roleplay. Zyra adjusted the faucet. Perhaps you are. You grow red when I bathe. That is an arousal signal, yes? No. That's frustration. And embarrassment. She leaned forward. So Earth males turn red when denying desire? I'm not. This is not desire. This is stress. You're using all my hot water. Excellent. Then the desire fluid reserves are ample. Jason stood up, trying to assert some control. All right. Out of the tub. Right now. I've got a meeting. A real, human, online meeting. You can't just live in my bathroom. She looked wounded. You're evicting me from the throne? It's porcelain and meant for butts, not empires. I thought you were different. That your healing hands were genuine. That the bubbles meant something. Jason blinked. The bubbles meant something? I offered you my loofah of trust. He rubbed his face. That's not a thing. To Valari females, bathing together is more intimate than mating. You accepted my soak. We are bonded. No. I didn't accept anything. You fell through my ceiling and stole my loofah. She stood, water dripping from every curve. The robe slipped. Jason turned away quickly. You dare deny the throne's will? It accepted me. It accepts anyone who turns the knob. She folded her arms. Then I shall remain until the throne rejects me. The tub doesn't have feelings. Then how do you explain its warm embrace? Jason marched out. I'm calling a plumber. Maybe he can evict you. Let him try. He will bow before the sacred foam. A few hours later, he was in a video call. Zyra appeared behind him, wrapped in a towel, hair wet, sipping from his mug. The client on Zoom froze. Is this a themed call? No, Jason said. That's just my roommate. Foreign exchange. Royal something. Zyra leaned into view. He gives excellent pressure therapy. Jason ended the call early. She followed him into the kitchen. Your nourishment rituals are primitive, but satisfying. That's cereal. I crave another offering. Perhaps the toaster strudels of pleasure. Jason nearly choked. They're pastries. Delicious. Like your coconut extract. I applied it to my lower region. It tingled. That was body wash. Not, whatever ritual you did. She licked her finger. Then your soaps are versatile. You truly are a healer. He leaned against the counter, exasperated. You've taken over my tub, my bathroom, my hot water, and now my toaster strudels. She leaned closer. You're lucky I haven't claimed your bed. That's traditionally the second throne. His breath caught. Is that a joke? Only if you laugh after. He turned away. I'm not doing this. You're not staying. She stepped back. Then reject me. Say it directly. Say you no longer wish to bond. Jason paused. She looked vulnerable for the first time. He sighed. I don't know what's going on. But I can't live like this. It's a lot. She nodded slowly. Then I shall stay in the tub. Quietly. I will not interfere. I will soak alone. Jason left the room. She didn't say another word. Later that night, the apartment felt oddly quiet. No humming, no water running, no ridiculous declarations of ritual bonding. Just the faint smell of coconut and bubble residue on the floor. And one very empty bathtub. Jason sat on the couch, unsure if he was relieved or unnerved by the silence. Zaira hadn't made a sound in hours. No bubble splashes, no ritual chants, no odd demands for cucumber-based diplomacy. That silence was more suspicious than all her royal declarations combined. He cracked open the bathroom door. She was still in the tub, motionless, submerged up to her chin, eyes closed. Candles flickered around her, and Jason's Bluetooth speaker softly played something that sounded suspiciously like alien opera remixed with lo-fi beats. You okay? He asked. Her eyes opened slowly. My energy is low. The treatment ceased. I fear I am destabilizing. Jason sighed. You mean your bath got cold? She nodded gravely. Without warmth I regress. The molecular resonance drops. I have attempted manual stimulation, but the faucet resisted. You turned the knob the wrong way. She blinked. There are multiple knobs. Jason crossed the room and adjusted the temperature. Steam returned, and Zaira moaned softly as the warmth enveloped her. He turned to leave. You returned, she whispered. I'm not going to let you freeze in my bathtub, no matter how confusing you are. She smiled faintly. Then you do care. I care about not being sued when an alien catches hypothermia on my property. Her grin widened. Such passion. Such concern. Earthmen express affection with grumbling sarcasm. I like it. Jason pinched the bridge of his nose. This isn't affection. It's damage control. I understand. She sat up straighter. Then let me help you. With what? You've done enough. My pursuers are coming. Jason turned around slowly. Come again? My enemies trace the throne's reactivation signal. Your bath heater emits a unique frequency. They believe I am healed. They will arrive to terminate me. You mean to kill you? In my apartment? While I'm on a budget Wi-Fi plan? Yes. Jason stared. They'll bring weapons, won't they? Yes. And you're just casually soaking in my tub? I am recharging. Jason threw his hands up. Great! My bathwater is now a galactic beacon. What are they, bounty hunters? No, she said, standing. They are far worse. Bureaucrats. He blinked. Alien IRS? They enforce Empire law. And I broke it. By crashing in my tub? No. By bonding with a non-registered life form. You. Jason blinked harder. You what? We shared the waters. You touched my lower back. We exfoliated together. You are now an unlicensed consort. Jason backed up. You never mentioned any paperwork. Would you have signed it? No. Then it is better this way. He paced. What happens if they find me? They'll probe you. He froze. I don't like how you said that. Emotionally. Physically. Possibly financially. Jason stumbled into the kitchen and grabbed a spoon like it could defend him. Okay, so we need a plan. She emerged from the bathroom wrapped in 3 towels like a queen preparing for war. We shall defend your domain with Earth's primitive tools. I have a plunger, duct tape, and a rice cooker. She examined the rice cooker. This hums with energy. It cooks rice. Perfect. We'll modify it into a steam trap. Jason blinked. You're serious. As sacred foam. He handed her the duct tape. You're gonna weaponize my apartment with bathroom supplies? It is your legacy. You shall be known as Jason the Improviser. The next few hours were spent turning his tiny apartment into what she called a defensive cleanse zone. Bubble bath and water balloons. Hair dryers wired to heat sensors. Toothbrushes tied together for a makeshift motion detector. Jason tried not to think about how all of this felt like a fever dream brought on by expired bath salts. Then the light outside flickered blue. Zyra turned to him. They're here. Jason peeked through the blinds. A triangular ship hovered just above the street. A beam of light scanned the apartment. Zyra stood tall, towel-draped and defiant. Jason whispered, This is ridiculous. Zyra didn't blink. This is sovereignty. A thud hit the front door. Jason flinched. They know where I am, Zyra whispered. They can smell the coconut oil. I told you not to rub it everywhere. They demanded glisten. Jason grabbed the plunger. You hide in the tub. I'll stall. She nodded. Your courage is strangely arousing. Not the time, your wetness. He opened the door. 3 tall figures in silver robes stood outside, their translator devices already whirring. Present the Empress, one said flatly. Jason tried to smile. She's not available right now. She's exfoliating. This is not negotiable. Zyra's voice rang out from the bathroom. This male is under foam protection. The agents stepped in. One sniffed. Nanorepair spores detected. She's been soaking. Jason held up the plunger like a sword. Back off. This is sacred bathroom ground. They hesitated. One looked down. That is ceremonial earth weaponry. Zyra marched out, towel flowing behind her like a cape. This is my throne. He is my consort. Leave us be, or taste the wrath of citrus lavender cleansing. One agent stepped forward. You leave us no choice. Then he slipped on a puddle of conditioner and hit his head on the sink. Jason blinked. Did we just win with bath products? Zyra helped the other 2 back to their ship. It appears your methods are effective. Jason exhaled. I'm going to need a new tub, aren't I? She smiled. And maybe a second throne. Jason sat on the edge of the tub, staring at the chaos left behind. Conditioner puddles, half-melted bath bombs, duct-taped appliances, and 3 footprints glowing faintly on his floor. He still held the plunger. It was his only victory weapon. The agents had fled, their leader knocked unconscious by an off-brand eucalyptus hair mask. Zyra stood behind him, wrapped in a towel like royalty in retreat, but her grin hadn't faded. You've defended your domain with honor, she said softly. And creative plumbing. Jason shook his head. I don't even know what I did. One slipped, one tripped, and the last guy short-circuited after touching the rice cooker. That's not strategy. That's bathroom slapstick. Earth tactics are deceptive in their elegance. It was chaos. Foamy, fruity-scented chaos. She leaned down, placing a hand on his shoulder. Chaos is the birthplace of legends. He looked up at her. You're enjoying this way too much. Your kind underestimate the power of domestic resilience. You turn basic hygiene into defense. I weaponized a loofah. Precisely. Glorious. Jason stood up, brushing off soap flakes. So what now? More enemies? More diplomatic disasters in my bathroom? They won't return. Word travels fast. Earth's bathing rituals are now classified as high-risk engagement. He blinked. You're telling me the Galactic Empire now fears my tub? And its master? Jason rubbed his face. I'm not a master of anything. I just wanted to unwind and soak. And you became a legend. Through bubbles and bravery. He glanced at the mess. Well, my landlord's going to call me something else entirely. Zyra laughed. Let me speak to your ruling authority. I shall offer tribute. Or a coupon. He turned to her. You're really not going anywhere, are you? She stepped forward. Jason of Earth, we shared the waters. Faced danger. Bonded over scented candles and edible bath oils. That was lip balm. You weren't supposed to eat it. It was delicious. Your grooming customs delight me. Jason chuckled despite himself. You're unbelievable. And yet undeniable. He walked into the living room, flopping onto the couch. So if you're staying, does that mean I have to keep the tub filled 24/7? Of course not. Even empresses must adapt. Besides, I've taken an interest in your second throne. Jason narrowed his eyes. You mean the recliner? She raised a brow. The one that vibrates when you sit on it and heats your lower back. Yes. Clearly another medical relic. He groaned. That's for my sciatica. She settled beside him. Sciatica. A noble disease. You just want the heated seat. And your company. He glanced at her. The glow was gone from her skin, but her eyes sparkled with amusement. You really don't have anywhere to go. I do, she said. But nowhere I want to be. Jason looked around. His ceiling was still broken, conditioner stained the tiles, and he hadn't worked a single minute in 2 days. And yet, he wasn't mad. He smirked. Well, if you're staying, you follow house rules. No hogging hot water. No turning my soap into diplomatic offerings. And absolutely no more declaring furniture as sacred unless it's on sale. Agreed. On one condition. Of course there's a condition. You continue your daily healing rituals. Preferably with scented oils. I favor coconut. I knew it. She extended a hand. Do we have an accord? He took it. Yeah. Sure. Until my landlord kicks us both out. She leaned in, lips almost touching his ear. Then we find a new throne. Maybe one with jets. Jason turned red again. Stop saying things that sound sexy but aren't. But they could be. He covered his face. This is my life now. Outside, the sky flickered. The Empire watched. No attacks came. Just data logs titled Subject, Earth's Medicinal Soak Specialist. Zyra leaned back on the couch, feet in Jason's lap, towels still barely holding on. You've done well, Jason. I may just make you my royal consort permanently. He stared at her. You're joking. She didn't blink. Earthlings have soft hands. It's a strategic advantage. He shook his head. Next time someone breaks into my apartment, I'm just calling the cops. And deny the universe your gifts? She poked his side. Come now. Let's initiate another session. Jason sighed. Fine. But you refill the tub this time. Zyra smiled. With pleasure. I'll even let you choose the bath bomb. He tossed her the last one from the cabinet. Lemon mint. It's all I've got left. She caught it mid-air, holding it like treasure. A rare relic. This pleases me. Jason leaned back and closed his eyes. Somewhere between madness and lavender foam, he'd gained a queen. A towel-thieving, bubble-obsessed alien queen. But she was his now. And strangely, the tub didn't feel like his anymore, it felt like theirs.